Hi, I'm Ronnie Santmeyer. Today I'm going to show Neotek EQ on the Series II. That's probably, I think it's a 1983, 1984 Neotek Series III console. I got 2 channel strips racked from that. You know, there's no plug-in out there. Actually, there's a couple MCI style EQs that are plug-in now, but there's no plug-in for Neotek. So guys who are not familiar with it, never, really get to mess with it. I'm still kind of learning them myself, but I thought I'd do a little quick example, running some stuff through it. So check it out. All right, I'm gonna zoom in a minute, but I just wanted to show this, the way these are racked right now. The routing for 7 and 8 has actually been turned into a phantom power. So when you're using the mic pre's, you can control phantom power from here. And the mic trim still works for mic and the line level coming in. All the auxiliaries are gone since it's not in a console. The buttons that do work here are just this black button, which turns it from mic pre to line level. And then the phase flip, or polarity flip, is here. And then the EQ in and out works. And then you have your EQ. Solo button doesn't really do anything. The pan knob is now a fader. And since you're not panning because you're not going to a 2-bus, this will actually work as a master fader for the channel, which is cool because you can drive the input, which I'm going to do on some of these drums, drive it to get a little hair out of the console, and then you can back it down with the fader here. The monitor doesn't do anything, but the mute switch does work. The way this works on the Series 3, Series 1 I'm not familiar with. I messed around with the old Elan consoles very little bit. The top, your highs, if you pull this pot, it becomes a shelf. So it goes from about, I don't know, 900 hertz, 20K, a little past 20K. It's peaking when it's in. Mid-band goes from about, I don't know, maybe 300 hertz to about 10K all the way around. And I don't know what the Q points are when you pull it, but when you pull it, it gets more narrow. It's a high Q. So you can zone in a little better on a frequency. Same with this band. You pull it, it becomes a high Q. And this one goes from about maybe 40 hertz to, it looks like 2K. Bottom is not like this. It doesn't turn into a shelf. It turns into a high pass filter. So you pull that and then you can cut out some low sub stuff. This goes 20 hertz, a little below 20 hertz. I'm not really sure exactly how much lower. And then it looks like it goes up to 700. And then you can, like I said, you can pull that out, which is nice because you can add some good bottom with this down here, around 50 or 80. And then if it gets too subby on a kick drum, you hit that high pass and you can pull that out. So we'll show that in a second. So the first example I want to show is Bronson Wagner session. We did the drums on this way back in my old studio, probably 2008. I mixed this a long time ago. This is kind of like a raw, just unmixed version. I just wanted to pull this up. So this is a kick in. Kick out. So let's put, I have a reinsert already up here. We got it going out 12. I do both channels here, so it's in mono. Let's enable that. So if I boost anything, you're not hearing it because the EQ button is not in. I can drive it harder. Turn that fader down I mentioned, so watch. All right, so let's mess with that a minute. So that's the raw kick in and kick out together. It doesn't sound bad at all. EQ's in now. That's the peaking button. I'm gonna pull it in and out so you can hear it. Now for an example, let's do the opposite. I'm going to boost lows on here a minute, and I'll show you what that high pass sounds like. Say we wanted to boost around 60 or whatever that looks like. Now I'll cut. But on a lot of these, I like to find this area and cut that out. I feel like it makes the drum sound a little stiffer. It makes the bottom tighter. Let's add a little point to the top. Let's show you what this top sounds like. Let's go around 6K. I don't want to make it a metal drum, but okay, so that's EQ off. All right, let's go to let's hop over to the snare drum a second. Top. The bottom. I think I edited that a long time ago to be chopped off to get rid of some rattle. And this is going out 13 in and out to enable it. Same thing, let's drive this hard. It's got that ring in it. Put the high EQ on it. I want to add bottom. Pull this bottom snare mic down a hair. That's like 3K there. It's a 10K shelf. Now I got it back into a peak. All right, let's hear it with the overheads in all a minute. It's out. In. I'm gonna hear all the drums a second. And I'm gonna pop the kick and snare in. Now the balance might be wrong for it. EQ out again. I'm gonna exaggerate. Let me set this kind of flat again. I want to show the Neotek being used on some room mics. I can't remember what I used for room mics back then. Same thing, I could drive them a little harder if I want. I don't have headphones on, so I hope my balance is okay. Turn them on. Let's add some weight to them. You hear that, listen to that ride change when I put it into high Q. Let's give it some, now these I'm gonna use a shelf. Let's start up at like 16K. For this example, I'm going brighter just so you can hear the top end. So that's out. Let's darken it some. And put it back up around 16K and pull some top out. I'm gonna push the mid more. Around 2K, 1K, 2K. Now I'm gonna drive it harder and pull the master down here. Flat. Again, there's no compression going on right now. I'm just doing the EQ, so. Let's move away from that a second. Let's go to a bass. Let's see how that sounds. This session, we had this DI bass. And then we had an amplifier. And then both of them together. Let me go over here and settle this kind of flat. You know, if I may, you know, use this and keep it in real time if I was going to my summing box. But a lot of times I might, you know, find something I like EQ-wise and just print it back in the track and then freeze up this EQ to be used on something else. It's already kind of got some dirt on it, so maybe I wouldn't drive it super hard. So put the EQ in. I can roll some top off. put it on shelf and do that. Say we wanted to add some subby stuff in it. That's kind of vibrating. Speaker stands. Say it was too much and we wanted to use the high pass. I can add lows with this if I wanted. And then use this to cut. I kind of like it using this to take that area out. Okay, EQ's off. Puts a little more definition in it. Even with me taking the highs out, just add this mid. And actually during that section right there, this is a fuzz bass part that he overdubbed on this bridge section. Okay, that's without it. Interesting difference. So without the EQ. Let me hear it with the actual bass guitar too. So both of these are out right now, EQ wise. All right, I'm gonna play it again, and I'm gonna pop the EQ in. Pretty interesting. So let's kind of set this stuff flat real quick. Now obviously it depends on which way you want to go with this. You want to scoop that out and add some lows, which I probably wouldn't do, but I want to scoop that area out. I got the camera. I sort of got the camera in front of the EQ, so I can't really see exactly this other channel. A little off balance. All right, let me just do this little verse section here.
Saturday night, the same old story. Closing time till the morning glory. Your whiskey soaked and on the prowl. You're looking for Mr. right now.
Now we tracked this to be kind of gritty sounding anyway on purpose.
I see you across the room. Saturday night, the same old story. Closing time till the morning glory.
I just have this looping.
Your whiskey soaked and on the prowl. You're looking for Mr. right now. I see you across the room. Saturday night, the same old story. Closing time till the morning glory. Your whiskey soaked and on the prowl. You're looking for Mr. right now. I see you across the room. Saturday night, the same old story.
See if I can make this extend a little bit further.
Saturday night, the same old story. Closing time till the morning glory. Your whiskey soaked and on the prowl.
So this one is, I just showed you Bronson's. This is Sean Rickman. He recorded his drums himself for Anthony Setola session. I just finished Anthony's album. And Sean did his drums himself in his house. They're fine, but they're just different sounding than what I would track and the approach that I would take. So I did some reamping. I ran his drums through other, gear and printed it back in and things like that. But what you're hearing here is none of that. I just wanted to open up the raw sessions like what I was handed before I mixed. The only thing I did do for this video is which I do a lot, is I auto-aligned his drums to make sure the timing and phasing is correct or better than where it was. So let's do this kick. There it is raw. Try driving it hard again like I did the other stuff. That doesn't always work, but I like when this little peak lick comes on just a little bit. Just gives a little hair to the sound. Figure out what we want to do. I mean, in this scenario, he's got enough boom on his bottom of that kick that I don't really need to add anything. I mean, I'm not listening to it in the track. But I could actually use the high pass filter if I wanted to on this possibly. Around 20, just to cut out some subby stuff. Or I could just leave it go and then decide to, just print it like this. So I capture this kind of sound in the top and a little snap. And then if I felt like it was still a little too subby, I can just use a plugin later to filter out that sub, and I'm not committing to the, taking out too much or something. So here's without it again. All right, let's go to the snare a second. So he just has top and bottom right here. I kind of got them balanced like that. Make sure that's on 13. Getting that peak light going. EQ is in. I'm driving a little harder now that I took out most of that frequency. That's making it louder. Still want to add some bottom. Let's add some way upper top stuff. On the shelf. I like it on peak for this actually. The busy part, so I like picking up all the little extra ghost notes and stuff at the top. So it's flat. Let's listen to both of them a second. So they're both out. With the whole So let's see if I can do this real quick. Okay, so let's mute this kick and this snare. Okay, so now I just wanted to show an example. I did this quickly, so it might not be terrific. If I was to print what we just did, and I just did a little section right here, you see, where I just printed, I came out of 12 and came out of 13, went through the Neotex and then just printed them here. And then I actually put auto line on them just for the timing of coming out and going back in. Now that we did that, we can put the Neotex on overheads. Let's say we wanted to do that. Now, when I actually did Sean's drums, you know, obviously, when you're tracking drums, you're you're going out to different mic pre's, different converters, different compressors, and that's exactly what I did. Instead of like, you know, running his kick and snare through the Neotek and then printing that and then going to the next drum and EQ it and printing that, I just pick and choose, you know, devices kind of like what I would use here. You know, I'm going to use these Cappies or Chandlers or whatever on the kick. I'm going to use something else in the snare or whatever. I just ran everything through all my different mic pre's and EQs and compressors or whatever, like if he was really here and I was tracking it, and I just printed everything all at once. The advantage of doing it that way also is I got all this different color going on like I would if I'm tracking sort of, but it's all going out of the box and coming back in at the same time, so I didn't have to worry about any latency or delay. It all went out and came back the same. So here's the overheads. Try to balance them best I can. The Sean's, you know, you can hear that's off. It's mostly cymbals. It's not a lot of the way he did his drums in that basement. You don't hear a lot of the bottom end. There's no, I like to try to get some of the shell out of the drums and the overheads. Just, I almost want to treat overheads like if they were the only drum, I mean, the only mics you had, you know, I want to capture the whole kit sound, so. So there's not much down here, but I'm going to add it anyway, around 100 hertz. Put this on a shelf, like 10K. So that's flat, or EQ off. So let's listen to it in the track. EQ's off right now. Adds a little clarity. All right, let's go back a second. EQ is out, and let's put the non-EQ'd kick and snare back in. And here's the EQ on the overheads. Funny, you don't hear as much of a difference because the bottom end is so kind of cloudy and murky with the kick and snare not being EQ'd. So here's the printed kick and snare. So I want to thank those guys, Sean Rickman, Anthony Setola, Bronson Wagner, for letting me use their tracks. All right, so that's the Neotek. I'm going to go through other pieces of gear in the future, some other things. I'm going to run through some compressors some people ask me about. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Thanks a lot.